Early on into the new era ruled by the gods, one of the Olympians, Demeter, became the target of admiration among a lot of the male gods. One of the admirers of the goddess of the harvest was especially persistent, Zeus.
I like sticks. Pick.
Let me smash. Please.
No, Ron. Go find Becky.
You want some fuck?
No, Ron.
Demeter then turned into a snake in order to flee from Zeus's advances. Zeus also took the form of a snake and continued his pursuit. As Demeter was rushing to get away from the thirsty god, she attempted to slither away through a hole in the dirt. Unfortunately, there was a dead end and Zeus plugged off the hole she entered from. Zeus then agreed to let Demeter leave only if they finished some business right then and there first. 9 months later, Demeter gave birth to a daughter who she named Persephone. Demeter loved her child so much. She meant everything to her. She was so protective of her daughter that she wouldn't let any god even get a chance at trying to marry her. As time passed, one specific god really took an interest towards Persephone. As the god of the underworld, Hades would sometimes find himself feeling lonely. After spending time to watch Persephone, he fell in love with her. He wanted to be a wonderful husband to her, and decided he should ask her father for his approval and advice. So naturally, Hades visited Mount Olympus to speak with Zeus. After confessing his feelings toward Persephone to his brother, surprisingly, Zeus was very accepting of the idea of them being together. Zeus was inclined to give Hades his approval.
But the problem is, I wouldn't know how to convince Demeter to give me her blessing.
You don't need her blessing. Just kidnap Persephone.
The brothers then discussed their undoubtedly questionable plan. Once Demeter was away, Persephone was in the care of some nymphs. However, when the time came when the nymphs fell asleep, the godly brothers took advantage of this. Persephone was lured into an open field away from the slumbering nymphs, using a newly sprouted trail of gorgeous magical flowers that caught the goddess's eye. Once she was standing atop the open area, the earth beneath her feet opened up and Hades had put her into his chariot, riding back into the depths of the underworld. During this entire abduction process, there was someone who actually witnessed what happened. The sun titan Helios was actually riding his sun chariot across the sky at the time. Though he was the only one who saw the kidnapping happen, he did not want to get involved and moved on with his day. Aside from Helios, a nearby dark magic goddess named Hecate, the goddess of magic and witchcraft, actually heard the abduction take place and even sensed the ground open up nearby, but was not aware about all the details of the abduction. Concerned for the source of the screaming that she heard, she started attempting to use her magic to find out what exactly had happened. Once Demeter had returned and realized that her daughter was missing, she was furious. She went on her way to search tirelessly for her daughter. She spent 9 days in a row without resting or sleeping to try and find her. Once the 10th day of her search came, she stopped by the cave of Hecate. During the entirety of Demeter's several-day search, Hecate's powers couldn't actually help her discover any new information about the abduction. Forces stronger than her were somehow working against her magic to cover it up. Demeter met up with Hecate and explained that her daughter was missing. So, the dark magic goddess then decided to help Demeter search. But after a while, she had to rest after no results were produced. However, Demeter couldn't rest. Demeter continued her search alone, and eventually arrived at the kingdom Eleusis, disguised as an elderly woman. Currently, the royal family of the kingdom were actually gathering some of the citizens in the square. The family was celebrating Queen Metaneira's newborn child, Demephone. When Demeter approached the square, the queen took notice of the strange woman and called for her attention.
I do not recognize you, but you do seem to be exhausted. What brings you here?
Demeter didn't really think humans could be of any real useful help, but her exhaustion and desperation made her want to seek out any help that she could.
My daughter, she was taken from me.
What? You poor thing! Triptolemus, help us bring her in. Alright,
Replied her eldest son. The royal family then took the woman in and took care of her in the kingdom, looking to help her find her daughter. Triptolemus had even commanded 4 horse riders to be sent to the north, south, east, and west directions to spread word of the abduction and gather information about it. Demeter was so touched by the royal family's kindness extended to her, though she was just a stranger to them. She wanted to repay their kindness, so Demeter offered to take care of the newborn Demephone the following night. When Metaneira agreed, when nobody was looking, Demeter fed the child some nectar, the drink of the gods. She even laid him in a fireplace to burn away his mortal essence.
You'll be so strong that nobody would ever be able to abduct you, like my daughter was.
Demeter's power protected the child from harm as the flames slowly but surely began Demophone's transformation into an immortal. When morning came, the queen noticed her baby was larger than before. She brushed this off and allowed Demeter to be in charge of him again come the following night. Naturally, Demeter continued the baby's immortalization process. 2 days later, the rate of maturity that the queen's child is going through in such a short amount of time really started to make the queen suspicious. The queen could not sleep and snuck into the room where Demeter was taking care of Demephone in. The queen's motherly instincts kicked in after seeing her child in the fireplace and stuck her hands in to pull the baby out.
Now you've done it! Your son was going to be a great and powerful god, but now you've doomed him to mortality.
Triptolemus arrived after hearing the commotion nearby, as Demeter revealed her true godly form to them. To try and de-escalate the situation, the queen's son reported a new development.
the riders are back. They know someone who witnessed the abduction.
Who is it?
Helios.
With this new information, Demeter was surely grateful for the family's help. She made a promise to return the favor to them one day. For the time being, she had to find Helios, so she took the form of a turtle dove, her sacred animal, and flew away. Once she arrived in his throne room and demanded to know who took her daughter, Helios said the name of possibly the last god on earth that she wanted to hear: Hades. She was utterly furious. She then flew all the way to Mount Olympus to report to Zeus about who abducted their daughter. Needless to say, Zeus's reaction wasn't nearly what she had expected.
I may have actually helped Hades take her daughter. In my defense, I think they'd be a pretty cool couple.
No, this isn't... You know what? Fine. None of you really care about me, right? So you don't need me
Or my powers!
What? You never...
Joined our Discord server.
You know, it's fun, right? I'm not supposed to give my opinion, but give it a try, and then you can tell me if it's good or not. Not convinced yet? Okay. I'll cut you a deal.
Joining.
It's available for free, and that's a great price.